Runners coming out now. Young Kenny, the 7-4 favourite. Fiddling the Facts, 5-1. Then the last Fling, 11-2. Hollybank Buck and Nicky D both at 6s. Tullymurray Toff, 10-1. 20-1 Feels Like Gold. They're under orders and they're racing. Got 3.5 miles and half a furlong to travel here, and they've got a total of 22 fences ahead of them. The favourite, Young Kenny, the first to rise in the centre. From Fiddling the Facts on the near side, the last Fling is next with a white face. 2 lengths further back then is Feels Like Gold on the right of picture. Second from the right. On the extreme right is Nicky D, and further back is Tullymurray Toff. Coming to the second, all jumped it well. Young Kenny just surrendering that lead narrowly to Fiddling the Facts in second. Then the last Fling on the near side. 2 lengths further back then follows Feels Like Gold from Hollybank Buck as they go over the next. Further back in the field there is Nicky D, and last of all is Tullymurray Toff as they head up towards the water, and the last Fling really flew that previous one. And looks like Feels Like Gold dragged his feet through the water there and has dropped back to be a long last. They've got 2 complete circuits ahead of them, and the last Fling is really forcing the issue here in the early stages. Seamus Durack going out with the lead here of 2.5 lengths over Fiddling the Facts in second. The national favourite, Young Kenny, up in third, bidding to lump top weight of 11 stone 10 here today. They're 4 or 5 lengths in advance now as they head down the back of Hollybank Buck, then Nicky D from Tullymurray Toff and Feels Like Gold. First one down the back. The last Fling, the first to rise. They all jump it well. From in second, Fiddling the Facts, then Young Kenny over on the far side as they head towards the next. They're 2 or 3 lengths in advance now of Hollybank Buck, and then on the right of picture is Nicky D, followed by Feels Like Gold and Tullymurray Toff. Coming to the 7th. The last Fling attacked it and jumped it well. From Fiddling the Facts in second, 2 lengths away then is Young Kenny in third. Well in touch as they head down the back. Towards the 8th, Feels Like Gold just creeping into the picture there. They're followed further back by Hollybank Buck. Then on the near side, Tullymurray Toff, and on the right of picture is Nicky D. Heading now to the last one down the back on the first occasion. This is an open ditch. And the last, and Fiddling the Facts, he's got back in there. He's gone. He'll have to know he's got back. Well, that is a remarkable recovery there by Andrew Thornton, but it's put paid to her chances, Fiddling the Facts. She's gone from a prominent position to right back through the field. And she's now second last. She's only got Feels Like Gold behind her, and that disastrous blunder. But what a recovery by Andrew Thornton, a Gold Cup winning jockey, and a real touch of class to make that recovery. Coming to the 10th, the last Fling flies it by 6 or 7 lengths to in second, Young Kenny. Then in third is Tullymurray Toff. Over on the far side, Nicky D, a stablemate to the favourite, Young Kenny. Further back is Fiddling the Facts, who's made up a little bit of ground. But this leader has gone further ahead. The last Fling opens up a gap of 10 lengths or so over Young Kenny. Brendan Powell will now be in 2 minds about what he's going to do. Is he going to chase early as this leader gets away, or is he going to sit and wait for somebody else to do the donkey work? The last Fling flies that. Young Kenny made a mess of it, got in too close, but still survived. As they head up towards the open ditch in front of the stands, it's the last Fling with a lead here of 15 lengths. Went right through the top of that. Fiddling the Facts has been pulled up by Andrew Thornton. Has been pulled up before the open ditch in front of the stands. But it's the last Fling who leads here by 20 lengths and going further ahead. Young Kenny in second. Brendan Powell is going to have to set off out after this leader. Then in third is Tullymurray Toff from Nicky D, a gap of 5 or 6 lengths to Hollybank Buck, and forget about Feels Like Gold, who's chasing but tailed off. Meanwhile, it's the last Fling. Seamus Durack has gone off in front here by 25 lengths to in second, Young Kenny. 4 lengths away, third is Nicky D from Tullymurray Toff. 5 lengths then to Hollybank Buck, and a gap then of 100 yards to Feels Like Gold, who looks like being pulled up. coming towards the 15th. It's the Last Fling who's out in front, draws towards it, jumps it in grand style, 25 lengths to Young Kenny. Then in third, Nicky D from Tullymurray Toff, then Hollybank Buck, and they're the only ones continuing as they head towards the next one down the back. And it's the Last Fling who's 25 lengths in front of Young Kenny, who's going to have to do a lot of work here if he's going to catch this leader. Tullymurray Toff is battling on from Nicky D as they head towards 6 out, and still out in front the Last Fling with about a leader of 25 lengths to Young Kenny. Then in third is Tullymurray Toff with Nicky D running a good race, followed then by Hollybank Buck, but it's the Last Fling who comes to the second last one down the back, clears it in pretty good style, got in a fraction close. Young Kenny in second, followed then by Tullymurray Toff and Nicky D. They head now towards 4 out. This is the last of the ditches, and the Last Fling, Seamus Durack with this commanding lead, heads over it about 25 lengths clear of Young Kenny. Nicky D a mistake there, and a good recovery by Robbie Supple, and Hollybank Buck made a mess of it at the rear of the field. Leaving the back now, and it's the Last Fling who's out in front. The Last Fling by 20 lengths to Young Kenny. Then in third is Tullymurray Toff, followed by, at this stage, Nicky D. A long gap then to Hollybank Buck, who's the only other one continuing. Rounding the home turn now in the De Vere Gold Cup, and it's the course specialist, the Last Fling, who's well clear, coming to the third last, draws towards it, jumps it well, lands full of running. They're chasing in second. Young Kenny's very weary and is being passed now on the far side by Tullymurray Toff and also Nicky D, stablemate. But coming up towards the second last, it's the Last Fling who's well clear. Draws towards it now, jumps it well, lands over it from Tullymurray Toff. Then Nicky D is battling on. They're both very leg weary. A gap then to Young Kenny behind them from Hollybank Buck, but with one left to jump. And it's the Last Fling who's out in front, coming back to the field, but entitled to, has really run them ragged here. Clears it well. The Last Fling by 15 lengths. Jumping it in second is Nicky D from Tullymurray Toff. A gap then to the gallant Young Kenny. But on the run in for home, it's the Last Fling, Seamus Durack, who's run them off their legs in the De Vere Gold Cup, is coming up towards the line. This Sue Smith trained gelding who's done it in tremendous style. The Last Fling goes on to win the De Vere Gold Cup, eased down by 20 lengths. In second is Nicky D, third Tullymurray Toff, then in fourth the top weight Young Kenny, who ran a pretty good race under the circumstances, and last of the 5 is Hollybank Buck. The winner is number 2, the Last Fling, owned by Trevor Hemmings, trained by Sue Smith and ridden by Seamus Durack, the 5-to-1 winner of the De Vere Gold Cup. Second, number 5, Nicky D, owned by George Dilger, trained by Peter Bowman, ridden by Robbie Supple. And third, number 4, Tullymurray Toff, owned by John H. Wilson and partner, trained by Malcolm Jefferson and ridden by Graham Lee. Fourth, Young Kenny.
Seamus Durack.
Well, the SPs and the Gold Cup news. The Last Fling is a real live Gold Cup contender. 20-to-1 for the Gold Cup with Ladbrokes now after that win. First, number 2, the Last Fling, 5-to-1. Second, number 5, Nicky D at 6-to-1. Third, number 4, Tullymurray Toff at 10-to-1. All